Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. It's time to talk about modules 12 and 13. I hope everyone had a great spring break. We're going into the home stretch now. We just have basically 6 modules left, and they should be pretty easy. This week we're going to be dealing with architecture, both ancient and modern. I have a worksheet for you to complete, so make sure you've watched the modern architecture lecture first before attempting the project. Next week, of course, a couple more lectures, actually one lecture in a documentary, and then the quiz. Both of those modules are open now, but I'm going to go ahead and walk you through module 12 first. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. We'll start with module 12 first. Up top, we have all our usual suspects, our video, our action plan for the week, office hours every Wednesday. And then for our first lecture, it's on ancient architecture, our study guide, and then in the further exploration section, I have a couple videos, one on the 3 orders of Greek architecture, and the other on the Roman Pantheon. So both of those are really important videos to watch. After that, we have one of my favorite things to talk about, modern architecture. The lecture, the study guide, and then the further exploration section, which we have a link to Falling Water's website, also its Facebook page, the Stall House, which is one of the case study houses, perhaps the most famous of all of them, and then a list of all the case study houses that are around here in Southern California, a video tour of at least the landscape around Falling Water. You're not allowed video inside the building, but all that is there for you. And that is also the basis for our upcoming project, which is on modern architecture. It is due on the 13th, but there's a grace period until the 20th. So as long as you have it in on by the 20th, it doesn't get marked down or anything like that. But after the lecture, what I ask you to do is to choose another modern architecture structure to talk about. And in order to be modern, it needs to be built within specific years. It needs to be constructed using the skeleton and skin system, and also made with modern materials. So just be careful. Do not choose anything that has domes or arches or columns that looks like ancient architecture. This is going to be, sheets of glass for walls, a lot of cement, modern materials, things like that. So you're going to choose a building and you're going to discuss it in this modern architecture worksheet. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and insert a picture or a couple of pictures of the building here. Question 2 deals with the facts, the name of the building, where it is, when it was constructed, things like that. For question 3, provide some information about the architects or architectural firm that built it. What were the major construction materials? What makes the building you chose modern? Why did you end up choosing this building? And finally, you want to have 3 academic level sources. Wikipedia is not an academic level source. There are some examples over here. These are not to be used either, nor are any buildings from the lecture to be used for this project, but it is okay to use an architect, for instance, Frank Lloyd Wright. Yes, he created the Guggenheim Museum. Yes, he created Falling Water and Roby House and all these really important buildings. There's about 1,000 buildings I didn't talk about in the lecture that he also designed and built. So any of those are fair game. And so you can kind of take a look at these and see what other past students did. I don't expect all the paragraphs to be the same length. Most of my students want to submit something that all the paragraphs for those questions are the same length. They're not going to be. They're going to vary. But keep in mind that because this is a writing requirement, you want to shoot for somewhere between a total of 25 and 30 lines when you're done with the entire project. So that's roughly a 1-page essay is what I'm asking you to create, but make sure to use the worksheet. And I think that is everything I need to tell you about. It is worth 40 points. And again, you really have until the 20th to turn it in. There's also a journal this week, and the journal deals with Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water. This article came out now a quarter of a century ago when the home was having some structural problems. So you're going to answer the question, what was the problems that Frank Lloyd Wright had in his design that showed up 80 years later? What process did the engineering firm go through to preserve the home? And an opinion question of who do you think deserves really the final word in a building's design? Is it the client or is it the architect, and why? So let's get Module 12 out of the way and go into Module 13. Once again, usual stuff at the top, a lecture on design styles. So we have our lecture, study guide, and the further exploration section has a link to the Museum of Neon Art, also the Art Deco Society of Los Angeles, and a video about the Chrysler Airflow, which is a beautiful car, crummy design, but it is an absolutely beautiful car. Jay Leno has one of them, and he walks you through it. This deals with streamlining. So these are just some of the design styles we're going to be dealing with in that lecture. That lecture also talks about the Bauhaus. For the documentary, this is our second of 3 documentaries we have in the class. The next one is going to be during the last week of the semester. But the documentary deals with Herb and Dorothy. Herb and Dorothy are these 2 older individuals, not them, this is actually Christo and John Claude. But Herb and Dorothy in the 1950s and 60s lived in New York, had a 1-bedroom apartment, didn't have any kids, and just absolutely loved art. Collecting it, creating it. Artists such as Christo and John Claude were their friends, and they amassed basically a $27 million art collection. And it's really a wonderful story. It's great because they do interview many of these artists who have now passed away. The movie guide, there's one video in the further exploration section because there is a sequel to Herb and Dorothy. I've got the quiz here. It's 20 questions. It's about 5 questions each. Design, Herb and Dorothy, architecture ancient, architecture modern. And then we've got the journal number 12, which is where you're going to turn in your study guide for the film Herb and Dorothy. So when we get to the study guide here, you've got some major characters, Herb and Dorothy. Everyone else is not a major character. They are famous artists, which is cool, but there may not be a whole lot to turn in to write about. And I'm not asking you to look these people up online. I want reflections from the film itself. Explain the ways the Vogels built their art collection. Could someone today do what the Vogels did? Why was art so powerful? Your thoughts on minimalism, the way the Vogels impacted the art community, and so on. So that's all there for you. And that, I think, is everything for those 2 modules. There's just 4 more left after this week. So we're getting toward the end of the semester. Summer is almost here. I will see you all shortly with modules 14 and 15.